Hello and welcome to the Introduction to the Leadership Journey. I am your host, Kit Allowitz, checking in today to give you a sneak peek of what the fifth lesson. We're on to the fifth lesson already. Can you believe it? Hopefully the four other previous lessons have provided you some insight, an opportunity to think about what you think about. Because once again, once you take time to think, all kinds of amazing things are possible in that avenue, in that intersection between knowledge and awareness and conscious choice. So let me give you just a little peek at what lesson number 5 has. We've got a lot of great content in this one, and this one may take you a little while, but that's okay because it's a journey. It's not any sort of kind of race. So in this lesson, we'll be introducing several new concepts that collaborate, that tie in, that bring further insight and depth to our journey. We're really focused on principles, and in the LEAD program, there's 64 plus principles, and these other ancillary kinds of things that we're bringing in are designed to help give you depth and in the final analysis, create a corollary to the principle. So the first thing that we'll be looking at in this lesson is this idea of performance versus contribution. Now, this is a highly disruptive concept because we're going to ask you to consider that there is a difference between performance, your job, versus contribution that you're providing the organization. You can check off performing your job, but is what you're doing contributing to the organization? So I hope you enjoy that. We'll also, in this lesson, we introduced emotional intelligence or emotional maturity. Now, this also was a very disruptive concept. We brought in an outside speaker named Dr. Brett Savage, and he kind of really warmed us up to this idea that there's really two ways that you can see somebody, as a person or as a thing. If you see him as a person, we call that I, you. If you see him as a thing, you call that I, it. So I hope you enjoy this introduction, and we probably will keep digging at this idea for several journeys or lessons to come. We'll also be looking just at the general idea of emotional intelligence, so please look at that PowerPoint. We also introduced another concept called the 4 phases of leadership. Now, this is also disruptive. This whole lesson has a lot of disruptive pieces to it, and there's 4 phases kind of in a sequential order to describing where you and I are at. So, phase 4, obviously, is at this end of the pendulum, which is talking about someone who sets direction, organizational direction. Phase 1 is someone who's new to the organization, and then 2 and 3 are in the middle and have various components of leadership. So enjoy that piece. We also talked about another feedback paper that we did. Now, I hope you enjoy this one because I really enjoyed putting this one together. We gathered a whole bunch of data. We had 30 people participate in a 12-week program testing our hypothesis that while you could give feedback, it's better to ask for feedback. It's wiser. So this paper explores some of our qualitative, mostly quantitative kind of data on this piece. We also, in this particular lesson, ask you to think about what's clearer for you. Because in the final analysis, we're asking each one of us to get clearer about what's clearer to us around leadership and working with others and principles. We'll also look at this idea of rethinking our leadership paradigm. We're working towards kind of the end in mind here is looking at institutionalization of principles. And institutionalization of principles is a concept that only transpires when you take time previously to work as functional groups to integrate the principles, but then you also have to begin with, at a personal level, integrating and weaving the principles into your life. So we'll ask you to think about and take some time to look about that. In this lesson also, in conjunction with this particular summit that this lesson is corresponding to, there was 5 levels of homework. Now I'm going to ask you to consider doing the homework. The homework isn't necessarily easy. It's disruptive. It's a little challenging in nature. But hey, as we do homework and practice and think about what we think about, we'll change what we think, and on the far side of that, we'll get wiser. So, hope you enjoyed this lesson. We'll see you next time.